Good evening. This is Cal Katz the Cal Catster, and this is the 10th anniversary and 11th season of the Cal Cat Show. And we do a Halloween special on the On Location Cat channel. It's a Thursday. It's normally a Mark's Cards night, but apparently he wants to do his own Halloween thing on Halloween every like he did 7 years ago. We did a special. Appeared briefly in the 7 years ago beforehand, and then wasn't there for the Halloween itself. So yeah, this is 2019, and that was 2012 roughly. And so he's not here, so there's no show. So we have no show, but we do have a horror movie in honor of John Stanley, and we're gonna watch it and review it. We'll sort of review it. I'm gonna actually, instead of doing what I did last year, where I kept coming in throughout and just like interrupting every once in a while to tell you how much further I got through it, I think it's probably makes more sense for me to just watch the movie and then discuss it afterward. I can't show you clips from it because it's yeah, it's like that. So it's gonna be kind of like Red Letter Media, best of the worst, but without the visuals. They get permission to do the visuals, so they do them. I don't have that. The movie that I've chosen for the evening, in honor of the Creature Features show, the real one, John Stanley one, from John Stanley and Bob Wilkinson before him. Bucket, not Buckets of Blood. That was 2 years ago. This is, and last year was we did Plan 9 once, like about 4 years ago. But this is Nightmare in Blood. Nightmare in Blood. This may have been the double bill with the Plan 9. Yeah, so I'm going to watch this. I want to read the back here. Here we have. Here we have the streets of San Francisco run red when a horror convention comes to town, bringing with it a most unusual guest of honor. Malachi, a mysterious cult actor who's also a real-life bloodsucker. With his two henchmen, the reincarnations of body snatchers, Burke and Harrow, the fanged menace perplexes Bay Area police, leaving all hope in the hands of the mysterious novelist Seabrook. Another sleuth, Scotty, fashion designer Cindy, comic book expert Gary, and Nazi hunter Ben Hook. The intrepid vampire hunters track the fiend to his secret lair beneath a movie theater, where diabolical experiments have enabled Malachi to tamper with life and death itself. Featuring Kevin Matthews of the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and directed by horror guru John Stanley, the tongue-in-cheek monster mash will have you choking your armrest in fright, clutching your armrest in fright. This movie is really on the IMDb. It should be, if they haven't done it on Best of the Worst, they really should, because it's not good. But is it a Best of the Worst? Well, But in honor of John Stanley and the original creature features and which is I guess temporarily in the hands of some weird crackpot guy that decided to steal the copyright of it. Yeah, in honor of John Stanley, who was the original guy, and the two and the crew that does the house of the mansion. That's the actual people that actually own it, and this, but not in honor of the weirdo that took over and doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, but the rocker guy, he's legit. But in his groupies in the house with the butler and the lady mistress. Yeah, but this is John Stanley. He doesn't do these anymore. Wasn't at the convention, but hopefully at some point Disney can help out John Stanley and his friends to get the creature features as their moniker once more. Technically, some random guy cannot own the copyright of that, especially considering it was a Fox show, and now Disney owns Fox, so that means, well, it's Channel 2 show, but Disney owns the archive, technically, because Fox owned the archive. So, yeah, it's not this guy's. It's not even John Stanley's anymore, technically. It's Disney. So he's got to contact Disney and fix it. Anyway, this movie, many years earlier, 1978, around the same time as the Milpitas Monster, which was 76. And now, Nightmare in Blood. Watch it and then come back and comment this vampire flick that I saw a couple of years ago. I could have swore I reviewed it already, but apparently I did not. I don't think I can show you clips from it, but I'm going to watch it. And then I'm going to, tell you about it. Yeah, so it's 2019. The Cal-Cat show started on October 30th, 2009. About several months after Dad passed away, Bob Brown, one of the actors from Milpitas Monster. I inherited the Brown Productions, and they called it the Cal-Cat Show instead. Mark Scars and I threw a camera off the stairs and started the show. I did a bunch of blogs and things, and I'm going to review this movie, and because reviews is mainly what we do now. We did manage to release Starship Chimera a month ago, and it's out. It's on YouTube on Chimera 82405 website, Starship Chimera website. The game has not started yet. We don't have any players, but some stories have started. Some more stories. I have since published 24 books on Amazon.com, and working on 3 others that are coming out. Three different groups. One for the Space Vanguards, one for the Canary Space, and one for, of course, Starship Locations. So three other stories. Also, there's a Transformers thing. We're doing Rob Powers' Corrosion War Without End, and that should be in production shortly. Literally shortly. Like they're getting the figures together and script and stuff. And Werewolf Fuzzy Face over there is like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna play this one guy, and then it's like, so there's other stuff, other parodies always going on, even if we have a smaller building. Here we have it's an odd set of tracking because it's a DVD, it's a VCD DVD. Image actions. Scene selection includes opening title, The Palace of Horror, Enter Malachi, A Shrine to Comics, Fright Flicks, Killer Golf Game, Pitching to the Vampire, Coffin Intruder, What's in a Name, A Probing Man, Electrifying Hunt, Acid Burn, Exit Malachi, Beware the Monster, end credits. It's just a little bats drawn. This is apparently a re-release from. This is a re-release. Let's see what 90 minutes. Yeah. So let's watch it. So, this is Cal Cat, the Cal Catster. And I just got done watching Nightmare in Blood. John Stanley's 1977, early 78. Looks like it was on 16 millimeter film. It was blown up for DVD, probably blown up for 8 millimeter, and then video, and then DVD. So the end credits were like. It was lovingly recreated by some of the real creature feature people. And at the time of this release, I think this is DVD is from 2014, somewhere around there. But yeah, so maybe it was. It wasn't last year. No, could have been 2016, actually, 2016. Yeah. Hopefully John Stanley or some of his ilk will be back doing a CreatureCon thing again next year, and they will be able to discuss the movie or whatnot. But this was an old feature film. I know that some of my older half siblings did go to the Star Trek conventions in the 70s and also to the horror cons at the time, and they were not in this movie specifically. Father was in the Milpitas Monster, the cameo, and so were two of my siblings, and three of them actually. Yeah, Nightmare on Blood though had nothing to do with. This was hilariously filmed on the sly, what I was told back in the day by John Stanley and the crew, and Blood Raw and some of the others who reviewed it on their nerve-wracking theater. He's a horror host. Another horror host. I'm not a horror host. Mark's Cards isn't a horror host. We just review movies and don't really show. So yeah, the movie is. I mean, for what it is, it's a send up to vampire movies from the 50s and 60s. Like the Milpitas Monsters, a send up to eco terror movies and giant monster movies and from the 50s as well. This one, the joke of this movie is similar to that of the Cal Cat weird creepy pasta at the convention thing last year that did it, but I had seen this, so I was just paying homage to it. The joke idea of the movie Nightmare on Blood, briefly, is that they film a horror convention and they invite a Dracula-like 70s actor to come to the convention, not realizing he's a real vampire, and he's gonna like kill the people. Not like a vampire that I can think of now, like sparkly vampire. He's brooding and young teenager and he gets the brooding chick. It's not like that, and he's not sparkly. He just kills people. So he's like they call him the vigilante or something in the movie because he's like a stalker killer Zodiac type of thing going on, which was common in the 70s. Was a Zodiac killer, San Francisco. So he's like that. So he runs around killing people. He doesn't drink their blood and then make them vampires. He just kills them. Which is, I guess, the making you a vampire thing is a nod to some of the earlier stuff. I don't even think Stoker's Dracula necessarily turned other people. He just killed them. So I think that's the case. I might be wrong. You'd have to check out the regular vampire sites to see what it's accurate. But they don't sparkle. They don't shine in twilight. And Twilight. and they don't act like 50 Shades of Grey either. No, there's actually a real 50 Shades of Grey guy. He was called Epstein. He was killed, or hanged, or killed himself. He was a creepy guy that had an island for sex slaves. But he died just recently, and he was not a vampire. He just had slaves. Yeah, a lot of politicians are going over to his creepy mansion and messing around, Democrat and Republican. But anyway, in the case of Nightmare on Blood, the the creepy sort of similar character to the Epstein guy, creepy sort of vampire guy. They got to actually on the sly use Channel 2 where he worked, where John Stanley worked, the creature features guy, and they did a joke of the creature features in the movie, sort of a meta moment, if you might. They call it a meta moment. Very beatniky too, from earlier. Beatniks are actually earlier. The new beatniks are not the same as the old beatniks. Old beatniks are boomers that liked that stuff in that time period. Newer beatniks were the ones that were like the hippies, some of a branch of the hippies, nonconformist, stylish people. Not like a yuppie. That's different. Yes, young and upwardly mobile. Those are ex-geners. It's different. And then there's newer ones. Anyway, so in the movie they have these people like that. It seems a lot like now, but it's not. It's the 70s. So the movies, they have to get the vampire before he kills again. Basically, that's the plot. It wasn't awful, really. It's not a good movie, but it's not supposed to be. So, as a best of the worst type of candidate, I would say, if they showed this on Red Letter Media, and they should, they would probably say it over that evening. That would be the best of the worst, unless they get Milpitas Monster with it. Then the Milpitas Monster will be best of the worst, because it's a little better. There were two major drawbacks from the print, though, and I don't think that can be helped. A lot of the scenes are very dark, because they tried day for night shots and then filters and stuff, because they had a 16mm film. They tried to blanch out sort of the grain. It doesn't work. It makes the grain look very dark and grainy. When they're trying to show a scene where they're walking that isn't literally outside of outdoors during the day, it looks like it's shot on Chidio, as Stone Gremlins guy Brad Jones would say. Brad Jones recently lost his kitty cat Chloe. So, poor kitty. It's too bad the kitty died. But yeah, it had nothing to do with that. But I'll just add that there. That he lost his kitty died. It was 16. She was the star of the. That's an old cat. She starred in the Lloyd show, the cartoon. Anyway, and had a cameo in the That Darn Cat video, as well as some of the Tequila and Benetti stuff too. The review. Anyway, back to the story. It's just tangent. I'll go back to the thing real quick. The Nightmare on Blood. This is a Halloween evening, and we have. The lighting was just off. The grain was off in the movie, but it might just be the transfer, and maybe the film just looks like 70s shot on video. With old 16mm film, it's not going to look that good. Blown up on a 1080 screen, it's going to look grainy. Yeah. So I didn't put it on the really big screen because I knew it would look terrible. So I put it on the computer screen where it could at least compensate for some of the visuals and the sound quality. Sound gaffing goes in and out, but that's typical of a 70s horror movie. Actually, doing that, very typical. Although the screams were very good. The Foleying for the screaming was very good. The actors that screamed. But yes, they put their heart into it. Horror convention or there's a vampire. You just see them filming this whole thing. And then some of the younger millennials might say, but the cinema snob and the nostalgia critic did stuff like this before. Or they did like a convention where the Ghostbusters and a convention where there was a bad guy. Well, who do you think they were copying? They were copying people like John Stanley, if not him, and not Nightmare on Blood. They were copying it, and they were like doing an homage. It's an homage, absolutely. And yeah, why not have a convention horror story? That's ideal. Baycon used to do little horror shorts, filming, doing them things. Somewhere there's a cameo one with me in it from the Baycon days. I know there's at least one scene, which did make it into one of them, where Cowpoke chases Drew and Brian Story through the corridor, right past the film crew, so it's in there. But yeah, so yeah, we were in some of those. 2015, Bacon and Fanime were together. The last time we did that over there. Went to a day of Fanime, it looks like. But yeah, now we just go to Fanime because Bacon didn't do anything. And this last year, they switched them around. See, Big Wow was the big convention, but then Stanley and Wozniak bought up the rights to Comic-Con and Big Wow, merged them together into Silicon Valley Comic-Con, hired some of the same people back to do the promotions and stuff, and some of them, not all of them. Finkel, the writer, was there, but I think she just showed up again. I don't know if they hired her for anything. She just showed up. Finkel. But they didn't hire back they didn't hire back Creature Features. They hired back they got back the faker, the guy that was pretending to be Creature Features, stolen their copyright to try and get famous. It's not going to work because no one's going to know who he is. I'm not going to say who he is. Give it back to John Stanley, as I was saying earlier. It's like, come on. Yeah, your new version of the show is going to tank because, even if you went to another station, everybody's going to tell on. So Disney's going to, come after him. Well, Disney might not come after him because they might not care, but it's technically Fox and Disney. But yeah, John Stanley, I met him at a couple of conventions. Him and Robert Burrow were chatting and shit. And we did the Bill Peters sponsored gigs in 2015, 2016. Didn't go back in 2018. Didn't go back this year. So, but they had one this year. I don't know if Robert Burrow's sick or something, or locally, but 2016, they had a lot of fun doing that. The director's cut of that movie includes the siblings that weren't in the shorter version, which is cool. And yes, that's definitely, and then you confirmed that at the last special that not only was that the other little kid in it is Candy. So yeah, Martha's friend Candy. That's who that is. I figured that's who that was, but I wasn't sure. But yes, that's Candy. But yeah, that was. I remember that. I was in that movie. My scene, they replaced it. But yes, I was probably in the background somewhere. They just didn't get any film of it. I probably wasn't doing anything interesting. So it's not part of the movie. We're not going to put that kid in. But yeah, it was Nightmare in Blood's an interesting idea. Sure, this is a Halloween special. I know it'll be released on the 1st. When it's nearly the 1st, it's midnight. So it's technically a little late, but whatever. Anyway, so that was the Halloween special tonight. This was the Halloween adventure, and happy Halloween and happy All Saints Day, I should say, because now All Hallows Eve is over. And so watching the Cal Cat show over here on is going to go up on the where it usually goes on the part of the 11th season of the Cal Cat show on the old channel, the old and legacy channel. So incidentally, there's almost no footage of the Harvest Festival at the church. There was almost no footage of that. There's just some pictures. We'll throw them on the end. No sound, no explanation. So the stormtroopers and of course the suit. I was wearing a Union suit of the Eeyore, the Disney character. Eeyore, the Disney character. And he had a Union suit of Eeyore. There were two others that were dressed like Eeyore, which was funny. So it's the same suit. There were girls dressed like Eeyore. There was a high schooler and a mother, and I think there was 3. I think there was got a younger there. Anyway, so that's bizarre. Anyway, so they weren't all in the same family. They happened to be. Yeah. So yeah, Nightmare on Blood. Go check out Nightmare on Blood. It's probably Nightmare on Blood is probably John Stanley movie. Probably available online, I would think. Go and watch it. There's versions of it out there. The Red Letter Media. I recommend you guys watch this movie. Might even do a review of it. It's not a great movie. It's not trying to be. It's trying to be a send up to those old monster movies. So I think in that respect, it's not bad. It's just not great. It's not good. And he's trying. Horror host directing a movie. It's very unique that one of them got to do that. But yeah, sure. And this DVD contains. It's put out by let's see the DVD. I think it was Imagine. Put out the DVD. Let's see. Who put this out? Okay, special edition DVD. Let me tell you who this guy is. Okay, Image Entertainment. It's a professional, well, as professional as it could be, DVD. It's rated R. In terms of the gore factor, yeah, there is some gore in it, and there's some nice, neat kills, horror kills in it. The blood does look like bright ketchup, but yeah, this is how it is. Of all the things that needed to be darker, the blood is light. But yeah, artery blood would be kind of a darkish red. Yeah. But yeah, it's still fine. There's no real. There's what almost is a jump scare, one or twice, but it's not. It's spooky. It won't. It's rated R because I guess it's a horror movie and there's horror themes, but it's not a horror. It's really, it's not a horror. You could easily call this PG-13 now. You could run it through that. Show the critics part of it and they would say PG-13. It's not a hard R. It really isn't. But yeah, it's But yeah, sure. Directed by John Stanley and script by John Stanley. And it's kind of cool that he got to do that. 90 minutes. Just the right length. Blood-curdling special features. Alright, if you want to get this DVD, Image Entertainment, Cult Classic. You buy these. There's a website. Let me see if I can read it. I cannot read what it says, but here's the cover. Here's the cover. You can look it up. Nightmare on Blood. Nightmare in Blood. Or you can look it up. And, this is the alternate cover with the lady getting sucked by the vampire. Or about to get sucked by the vampire. The other one is a bridge with so they were covered. So Image Entertainment. Don't get the one that's in the there's like a 50-pack version in like a horror movie cult classics DVD thing that's on Amazon. There's like 100 of them. Don't get that version. Get the one that's actually this version, because this is better than being crammed onto VCD. It's better as a DVD. You can find the video. That would be interesting too if I played that. Anyway, so happy Halloween. Alice Entertainment. Play the blues. So yeah, Nightmare in Blood. Oh yeah, I looked up a little bit of this movie online, and apparently apparently it came out in 2004 on DVD, but I bought it in 2016. So just to clear that up. Oh yeah, so that's what it was. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Also, it was filmed mainly in Oakland, but it was masquerading in San Francisco. It was an Oakland theater that had been ravaged by a fire afterward. They repaired it, but I think it's still abandoned. That's about it. There's some reviews on Amazon. You can get it on eBay. You can get it on Amazon. It's real cheap. Also, some people loved it. Some people hated it. I think the ones that really hated it probably didn't get it, that it was a joke, sort of a parody spoofy thing. Clearly not meant to be, other than tongue in cheek. The ones that really loved it are probably the production people. Somewhere in between is this little gem of a cult movie. That's not what a cult movie is. Anyway, so there you go. Nightmare in Blood.